So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining to the presentation on how you may self-host Grist using a solution that I'm presenting you, which is Yunohost. Right. In this presentation, you will know a bit more about what is Yunohost, what you may do with it, what you may not do, and of course, how you may self-host Grist using this solution. A quick introduction of myself. I am Florent Fayolle, and I work for both the ANCT and the DINUM, which are two French public administrations, and I am tasked to contribute to the Grist core code. But I'm not here to talk much more about myself, but about self-hosting. So a word before talking about Polynohost is, yeah, why? Actually, you should self yourself. So as Dmitry said earlier, because it's your data, you maybe worry a bit about privacy because it's your data, and you will be more confident having this data in your own machine that you administrate. So that's a good reason for self-hosting. But also, you may want to use some tweak, right, for your application. Like, say, you would like to customize your theme of your app, and yeah, a good way to do that is just self-hosting and try to tweak the code for that. And because you do amazing improvement about the code, you may say at some point, okay, I'm willing to share it and share your improvements with the community. And in return, the community is willing to share you the improvements they made. And well, if you know me, you will see that I talk much about free software actually, and that's the amazingness of it. But actually, yeah, it's a bit hard. It requires many things like um, handling, knowing some technical knowledge, like the most basic one when you self-host is knowing how to use the CLI, the to use Bash, for example, or how to set up a proper environment using a reverse proxy, etc., etc. So it's been impressive at first, and you may say, "Okay, I should learn more," but it's a big mountain to go, so it can be a bit hard at the first. And also, another difficulty is to keep your app up to date, but without breaking. Uh, and yeah, in case it's breaking, your app is not available anymore, and it can occur when you don't have much time to fix it, and it can be a stressful moment. And also, yeah, because you know it's your own server, but still you want it to be operational. It's hard to make your server reliable and secure, and that's the reason that at this moment that Yunohost uh, comes. By the way, the pronunciation of Yunohost, because I don't say Yunohost, it's actually a fancy name for that question, which is a question incitating you to uh, self-host yourself. And of course, it is meant to simplify and democratizes the self-hosting for you, but also keep your server, your system reliable, secure, as told earlier, but also ethical and lightweight. Uh, the community which maintain Yunohost have in mind that it may run on a, say, Raspberry Pi motherboard, which is not very powerful. So yeah, it is meant also to be lightweight, and it is free software, not only open source but also still free software because it's oriented toward the community. Most of the contributors are volunteers, and the decisions are made with the community. So it's really a common. And yeah, of course, it's based on Linux Debian, so purely a free software. A bit slide about what the promise is, what you will find with Yunohost. First, yeah, there are very few steps for installing your apps. Usually more or less 5 questions, which are basics most of the time. And most of the times the default answer are very fine for installing. But also you have, and I say 1 click to upgrade, backup, and restore your apps. And I say click because there is a web UI for administrating your system. And yeah, Yunohost handles for you a backup prior to the upgrade. Because shit happens, right? And if the upgrade fails, then Yunohost removes that app and restore the app the way it was before the upgrade, with the old version, but also all its data in it, and it is still operational despite the failure of the upgrade. Uh, and also, if you have your own domain, it's fine. You can use Yunohost and register your domain in the system, and it will configure many things for you. And in case you self-host at your home, right, in your with a machine that is at your home, and your internet service provider does not offer you a static IP address, then the community, the Waynos project offers you a free domain that handles dynamic DNS support for you, which is very appreciable. Some fancy stuff aside, is that you also have a full email stack, meaning that when you set up your Yunohost, you have installed it, you have an operational email address and you can start sending email. And still, yeah, you have some configuration to do with your domain name registrar, but still to support DKIM. And yeah, it's a very clean setup for your email. That's something that have impressed me the first time I discovered that. Also, because you would like your users to be registered once and for all, you have a LDAP and necessary support in Yunohost. Yunohost has internally an LDAP to handle to register your users. Of course, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about what an LDAP is. But what you have to have in mind is that most of the apps handles and connects to the Yunohost LDAP to let your user have an account for the app you install. So they are registered once and for all. Yeah, because it has to be secure. It handles for you the SSL certificate installation using Let's Encrypt. And you have also some security systems like fail-to-ban or a internal firewall. Say, fail-to-ban is a tool to avoid having your machine hacked. If someone force boot your system, they will be detected and their IP will be banned. Yeah, there are many things installed for you and abstracted, so you don't have to worry much about it. And some questions like when or why you should use Yunohost. A good reason for me is that you're not a system administrator, as I am. Actually, I'm just a developer, and I don't have all the knowledge a system administrator does have, but still, you would like to learn a bit at your own pace, and it's a good way to go toward, I mean, acquiring knowledge to know how to self-host. And yeah, and of course, it's time saving. If even if you're a skilled administrator system, you might be interested in why not host because it saves you time to just install, upgrade, and many things. As told earlier, you worry about privacy and freedom. You may use Yunohost Save because you would like to experiment an app, say in your company, and you're a team wishing to experiment something. And yeah, because it's very simple to set up, to have an operational app and system with Yunohost, it's a good use case. And even if for production, I mean, of course, you would like to self-host yourself, or for your small organization, say for a small company or a small association, and or your family or your friends, it's a good system for that sake. However, you may say, okay, it's not for me if say you would like a heavily reliable and operational service. I will not recommend Host for the DINUM and the ANCT because when you upgrade, say, Grist, you have an interruption of service, and even for 5 minutes, it can be a bit worrisome for some users. And yeah, it's not something that you would like. And also because the NCT and DINUM have hundreds or thousands of people using Grist every day. So it's not the way to go for uh, such a system, especially because, as told earlier, it does not scale like systems like Kubernetes offers you. Right. I've spoken a lot about why no host, but Grist. After all, we're talking about Grist right now. A quick word. It's been packaged by myself on my spare time. It's level 8, which is the topmost core for a package. And it means that it's good quality and well maintained. You have SSO support and all the premises of a Wayno host package, of course. And so it's bit very customizable through variables, but I would say be cautious because um, you can do quite everything with these variables. You are offered all the customizations possible that GristCon offers, but you may break your system or, well, don't, be cautious with that. I mean, I mean it. And what is not supported after all? Uh, Out of the box, snapshots are not supported. I mean, out of the box because you may um, do snapshots if you're using, if you install, say, Minayo or other S3 provider aside to Grist on your server. There is a Minayo package, of course, but yeah, I will let you do that using the customizations I told you earlier with variables. Yeah, scaling and failover, of course, and because it's free software, you won't have all the enterprise edition features. And I emphasize that it is very easy, very straightforward to self-host and install apps through Yunohost. I will show you a bit with a demo, um, so you don't have just my word for that. Here I am in the administration UI, and we are gonna to install Grist. So you have a button to just install app quickly. Here you have a catalog of apps that are available for you. There are, I think, 600 of them. There are many, many, many of them. So quite impressive. And because I know what I'm looking for, I'm just searching for Grist. And when I choose Grist, I get a small description of what it does, quick presentation. And yeah, you have the very few questions I told you earlier. You can customize the name of the app. You can grant access to only host users. A small word about it. It doesn't mean that if you select visitors, everyone will be able to create documents. It means that everyone will be able to open a publicly shared document. Here, I say, okay, no, only host users will have access to Grist at all. But also, I don't have already created a domain. That's no problem. I asked to add a domain. And because I have my own domain, I just create a subdomain. They emphasize about something that, yeah, because I've done this demo through my experimental server, you have a local domain. And because of that, I won't have SSL encryption through Let's Encrypt. So I spoil you, but later you will have a warning because the connection is not secure and because the certificate is not recognized. But on production, you will have Let's Encrypt configured, having configured correctly your server. So it does lots of things. And now I think I'm ready to install. And I wait for 5 minutes. But because we don't have 5 minutes, I accelerate a bit the video. And I see all the steps the package does to install the app. If I want more details, I have the debug logs, so you will see what the package actually does. And once the app is installed, I just go to the app page and yeah, the SSL warning and see that the application is running. And because of the SSO, I'm already logged in. So now I can create a document and do all the fancy stuff that Grist offers to any Grist instance. I mean, filling data, using formulas, it will work, of course, and using your fancy widget, creating forms, having your data uh, filled with what the people have submitted through forms, etc., etc. And before leaving you, uh, some advices, basic advices for self-hosted. I will emphasize about the proper backups. So I advise you strongly to make remotely remote backups and have retentions with it. I would say like 5 months, 6 months of backups. And for that, I recommend using Borg, which not only offers all of it, but also deduplication, meaning that you can make many backups. It will not fill your disk of backups. And also supports encryption. You can put your data on another people machine. It will not be available for the other person. But not only have your proper backup, it's proper and clean if you have verified your backups regularly. So be sure that they are operational. Um, that's I mean, uh, yeah, it's simple, but to keep your server up to date, it's something that you really have to have in mind. And I would say personally, do not YOLO install packages, you apps, because the less apps you have, the less chance an attacker will find a vulnerability in another app and break your system, etc., etc. And that's all for me. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. And of course, I will be connected for some minutes after this presentation, and we'll be happy to answer more questions if you have and would like. Uh, anyway, I'm really open. I'm also on Discord most of the time. Thank you very much. If you want to know more about Yunohost, please take a look at this website. Thank you.
Thank you, Florent, and thank you for telling me how to pronounce it. It makes much more sense that way. Does anybody have any questions? Anyone want to? You can ask via chat. We can pop you up on stage if you're feeling brave.
I hope it was clear enough, by the way, and don't hesitate to ask for clarification. And if there is no question, I may ask myself a question. Oh, can you use the Yunohost on any cloud provider? Yunohost is actually an operating system, or so you have to have Debian installed and be able to run Bash script to install Yunohost, or to be able to install directly the Yunohost image. So I don't know, but usually on a VPS or in a bare metal server, you will be able to use Yunohost most of the time. Can it work with on Ubuntu? No, it really is tied to Debian and all the specificities. Not very sure about it, but I think that if you do that, you're not on the rail Yunohost is meant to run. I do have a myself a Yunohost server. I mean, in the background. Sorry, uh, this is my machine I use at my home with a Yunohost in it. Server real, yeah, real machine. And yeah, some people ask me whether it runs with Docker, and to answer it quickly, it does not use Docker because it's for historical reasons, but also to make Yunohost simple and simple to debug and to audit also. Um, and I have a question. What was it you mentioned about SSL? How it's set up with errors at first? I mentioned Let's Encrypt, which is a project that install for you a SSL certificate. And when you have this certificate, it's recognized by your browser, and you don't have this, you know, carry warning I got earlier. So when you have when a host operational production, you don't have this kind of warning, and everyone will be see a operational HTTPS website. I don't know if Omniraptor, I ans- answered your question. Don't hesitate to ask me for more clarifications. And by the way, I'm thanking Grégoire for making the uh, video editing for to the earlier video. Sorry, I didn't still get it, but I don't want to spend much time. Okay, don't hesitate to keep in touch after this presentation.